Desiree D. Ray Wise, spiritual healing coach here. Listen, so many people are misconceiving what the soft life actually is. And it's so crazy to me because before I decided to teach the course, Softness Embodied, I wasn't really like keeping up with the trends of a soft life, of what that is, right? Even though I knew that this was a conversation that was happening in many spaces and places, this idea or this concept of a soft life. Okay. And so now that I'm in the work and I'm cultivating a class based off of my understanding, right? I'm seeing so many different things. Now, pardon me as I'm looking back and forth because I'm actually doing some work getting things together for the class, which is why I'm like randomly going live right now because it just kind of came to me like so many women and men have the idea of a soft life misconstrued, right? And so a few things that I saw that made me be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're not understanding it from the same perspective. I saw one video on YouTube where the women are saying soft life is canceled. And this video was about 2 years old. And it's from women who are really business mindset, business oriented, which I love these women who made this video. I think they're smart. They're business driven. They're abundant. They're savvy. They're rocking their businesses, right? And they also appear to be taking care of themselves as well to a certain extent. But just from the title itself, to me, reading something that says soft life is canceled says to me that how they're perceiving softness or a soft life is misconstrued. Because one of the things that she said was, if I keep going on this soft life journey, I'm going to be broke, right? So what that says is that they've attributed a soft life or softness to the things that money can buy. And yes, it does include the gym membership, right? Like you need the gym membership, right? That costs. It includes your maintenance to a certain extent, right? Getting your hair done, lashes done, nails done, all of these things. It includes getting therapy, coaching, these different things that will allow them to actually be better as women. And these things do require an investment financially, right? But that's not the basis or the foundation of a soft life and softness, right? We have to understand that there's a certain level of softness that can be attained without, um, focusing so heavily on the finances of things, right? How much things cost. Um, in reality, there's a certain level of softness you have to obtain in order to make a certain level of money, right? But when I read that comment, I was like, that's interesting. And so what I really want to share is that softness is about having a gentle mind and heart, right? Softness is about, oh God, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, for giving it back to me. God is so good. As I was thinking about this concept this morning, I was like, Spirit, well, go deeper. What is softness? Like, what is a real understanding? And Spirit had led me to this ritual. I'm going to share this ritual with y'all. Spirit had led me to, it's just been a thing that's been happening over time, where the first thing that happened was I found this picture of me from when I was in elementary school. I was graduating. And in this picture, I look so vibrant. I have my smile. I have this beauty, this radiance, this excitement. I must have been like 4 or 5, 6, somewhere in that age range. And so for maybe a month or two, I've had that picture of me on my dresser where I've been able to look at it every day. And then so as I was cleaning off my dresser and just getting it reorganized, Spirit was like, put some energy and attention into this altar that is your dresser, right? What do you have on it? You have candles, you have pictures of family. What do you have that you're seeing every day that puts you in the highest vibration possible? So I have this picture of me graduating elementary. And at first, I had a picture of me and of just the kids. And then Kimmy had came to me and was like, "Mommy, where are you and Daddy in the picture on your dresser? Like, it shouldn't just be us kids. The parents should be in it too." So I ended up having to buy another picture to put on my dresser that has all six of us in it. And then I ended up printing out two other pictures that I just loved, right? And so when I put the picture of me by myself next to my elementary graduation picture, Spirit had basically said to me, this is the embodiment of softness. Softness in a woman is reflected in her ability to genuinely smile, right? Softness in a woman is her, she's done so much healing that her inner child is proud of her today, right? Her inner child looks at her and says, thank you, right? And smiles. A woman who is embodying real softness, the smile she had as a kid, that smile that still had hope, faith, belief, that smile that believed in fairy tales and infinite possibilities. A woman is able to embody softness if she still has that smile, right? And I'll tell you, it is that smile that attracts a woman to her partner, her husband, um, the person that she's meant to do life with. It's that smile. It's something within that smile that a partner, friends, um, business, clients, customers, is something about that smile that was her inner child smile. It's something about that smile that attracts her to all the things that she desires. That's softness. A lot of women have lost their smile. That's not to say that they can't put on a smile. That's not to say that they can't, pose for the camera. But we're talking about this inner radiance, this inner light, this smile that really comes from this deep sense of love, of understanding, of purpose, of satisfaction, and fulfillment. This is how a woman embodies softness. There's a joy by a woman's smile. It's something about a woman's smile that will say a lot about her softness, her receptiveness, and her alignment to the Most High. And I think many women are perceiving softness to be how much luxury they can attain, right? How many friends are in their circle, how many vacations they can take. And these things are definitely a representation of some level of inner work, right? But real softness comes from, the ability to have just so much peace and so much love and so much joy in your heart, regardless of, life experiences and circumstances. You just show up, you smile, you choose joy. In the face of adversity, you choose the higher road. And again, that doesn't mean that you can't go there whenever you need to go there, right? Because softness doesn't mean lacking boundaries. Softness isn't weakness. Softness isn't weakness, right? So, like, even let's say in my relationship with Dream, we've been together now 10 years. Literally, this January, we'll be going into our 11th year of being together. There are times when I have to be like, babe, no, that's not going to work, right? So softness doesn't mean letting people run over you. It doesn't mean um, putting on a smile, faking your joy, faking your happiness. It doesn't mean that you don't get frustrated or annoyed or angry in moments, but it means that in those spaces and places, there's a certain level of grace, honor, respect, and love that you have for yourself that ends up being reflected in the love that you have for others, in the love of how you carry yourself. That's a whole nother video that I'm going to talk about on Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to talk about the 5 habits of a soft woman, because we just have to understand what it is and get out of the misconception, because softness is not strictly attributed to your level of finances or your relationship status or the type of clothes you wear, right? It's a culmination of all of those things, but it starts in the spirit first. I saw this video the other day of a woman saying she hasn't brushed her teeth or washed her face in I don't know how long, right? Because she's been depressed. And so, what that says to me is that there's a level of hardness in her mind and in her emotions that she hasn't allowed herself to process and release, right? If someone is depressed, that means they're suppressing something, they're holding on to something, right? Something, they're harboring something, a belief, an experience, an emotion. That's hardness, right? And so something like that, not taking care of yourself in such a way, is symbolic of your level of softness and receptiveness and unwillingness. So we have to know and understand that our emotions, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our life experiences, these are the things that are making a woman hard or soft. You got some hard ass billionaire, multimillionaire women. You have some hard ass women that are living in poverty, but you also have soft women who may be in poverty and soft women who may be living an abundant and prosperous life, right? I want y'all to do this. Ladies, I want you to reflect on a woman who you believed embodied softness, right? So now I just gave you 2 things to do in this little build. Um, First thing, I want you to make an altar for yourself. I want you to compare your inner child self, your younger self, your 5, 6, 7 self to who you are today. Is there a resonance there? Is there a connection there? Or is that relationship fragmented? That's going to say a lot about your ability to be soft. Okay. And then the second thing that I want you to do is I want you to reflect on the women in your life who you've observed as soft, right? It's like for me, my mother was never soft. So she's gotten softer over the years. And so this is how you know that as women, we reach a point in our lives where we get tired of the fight. We get tired of the resistance, the restriction, the struggle. You just get tired of it. And you just get to a point where you're like, I got to relax. I got to receive. I got to allow. It becomes way too heavy to carry all of the stuff, right? And so I think that's very important. You get to that point. But I want you to reflect on the women who you knew as soft. My grandma Glenda is soft. She's always been soft. Ever since I've known her, she's just been gentle, which is why I don't know how my dad was attracted to my mother, because my mother has always been fire. But my grandmother, see, that was the thing. My daddy was probably attracted to, like, he wanted some drama. He wanted some fire in his life, my daddy. So he said, let me go to this spicy Leo queen. He wanted some spice. Because my grandmother, oh my God, always soft, always gentle. And, I only heard her curse once. And she cursed while we were in the car going somewhere. And she drove a Cadillac. She drove a Cadillac truck. So think about that kind of grandma, a Cadillac SUV. And it was like a cream color. Okay. Um, so we were driving in the car and somebody like cut her off. And that was my first time I heard her say like, shit, shit or damn. She said something like that. She was pissed off because her grandkids are in the car with her and you almost caused a crash. So her cursing was respectful and rightfully so. And I'm looking at, she apologizes. I am so sorry, sweetie. I'm so sorry, Desi, that I cursed in front of you. I didn't want to curse. I said, Grandma, this is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, Grandma, you did absolutely nothing wrong. I'm thinking in my head, Grandma, do you know your son's ex-wife, my mother, she says, I don't want to say it on here because I'm working on being more ladylike, but MFer, that's her favorite curse word. MFer, that's her favorite. She used to, motherfucker, that was her favorite curse word. So Grandma, you saying shit, like, it's okay, Grandma. So my grandma was always very soft. She was so beautiful. She was the first person to buy me a luxury or like a name brand purse, right? She bought me a Dooney and Burke purse, and it was so special, right? My grandma was the one that put me in pearls and gold and antiques and things like that. So maybe reflect on your grandma. Your grandma probably was an embodiment of some level of softness, right? My grandma was, still is. And she just gave feminine, gentle, loving, hug, nickname, ice cream. Like whatever you want, you can have, right? That's the energy my grandma gave. And though my grandma had a thriving, beautiful career, she was a manager for like AT&T back in the 90s. And she had a hardworking husband who worked on the plant. So yeah, she had some level of financial freedom at that time just based off of hard work, right? But at the same time, it was her spirit. It is her spirit, right? It is her spirit that made her, it's her spirit that made her soft like that. And you know what I love so much about her right now? Is that her and I, when we talk about spirituality, right? Like anytime we get on the phone, we're talking about some spiritual shit. I remember the last time she was in Houston, she was a Jehovah's Witness. She still is kind of a Jehovah's Witness, but she's also like very open-minded and just trying to figure things out. When she was here, she was like, Desi, I'm having some second thoughts about being a Jehovah's Witness. She's like, I ask them questions and I want to know things, and they just keep blowing me off and saying, cast your understanding onto the Lord. Like I can't ask questions or have understanding for myself, right? Let me see if I can turn up the lighting on my phone. Okay, that's a little bit better. A little bit better. So, and I was like, well, Grandma, God wants you to have understanding. God wants you to have revelation and clarity because one, that gives you peace. That gives you, what action to take. You know what I mean? So you're not meant to be in the dark on things. She had a little bit of a traumatic experience where her sister was found dead in her apartment, and she wasn't getting any clarity. She wanted to know, okay, God, what happened? How long has she been there? Was there some foul play? Like, and she couldn't get those answers. And so we have conversations like that. So one of the qualities about a soft woman is that she's never like stuck in her ways, no matter what. No matter, they say women get to a certain age and they just get, women and men really, they say once you get 50, 60, you in the I can't tell you nothing type age or energy. But a soft woman never stops growing. She continues to reinvent herself, recreate herself, realign herself based off of what serves her most in the moment, you know? And so the belief that softness or a soft life has to do with how much money you spend, or it has to do with what are some other things. It's just this facade, right? This facade of having it all together has what I think I'm seeing a lot of this softness or soft life energy kind of represent. And it's just like, we got to understand being soft is evolving and transforming and living through your life experiences. It's not hiding, behind glamour. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Hear me out. Listen, my birthday is coming up and I'm going to dress and I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a time and it's going to be beautiful and glamorous, right? So as spiritual women, do that too. Get your hair done, get your lashes done. Wear the level of makeup that you're comfortable with. Have beautiful, magical experiences in this physical realm. Do it. But more importantly, maintain an attitude of gratitude, maintain a spirit of uh, um, grace with yourself, for yourself, and with others. Continue to evolve and grow. Don't become hard. Don't become set in any type way, right? Like these are the things that embodying softness and having a soft life is all about. This is the gift of life, right? This is the gift. Being able to see yourself through many different versions of you and to continue expanding and growing in relationships, in your aesthetic, how you look, how you carry yourself, in your finances, in your business, at your job. A continuous leveling up and doing so with grace and knowing and understanding that it doesn't have to be hard. I realize that's a major thing. I see this in women all the time. This belief that things have to be hard. The conversation you have to have with your father. Oh, that's so scary. It's so hard. The changes you need to make in your daily routine. Oh, it's so hard, so scary. Maybe deciding to take less hours at work so that you can focus on your self-care. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. Right? Hard women believe that life has to be hard. Soft women believes that things get to be easy and you get to flow and you get to allow. So a lot of those women who were going hard in business and entrepreneurship and up until that point of burnout or that too, to create the soft life for themselves by way of their effort, you know what I mean, had it a little misconstrued, right? And not understanding that you can rest, flow, allow, align, and still create something beautiful in business, right? So I just wanted to come on and talk about that really quickly. I think just the most important thing that I want you to look at for yourself as a woman is Is your inner child proud of you or smiling at you? Do you still have the same smile that your inner child had? I'm telling you, if you do, if you can regain that, there's a certain level of power and manifestation that comes with that. I'm telling you, women who can refine their smile, their genuine smile, that's when you find your husband. That's when you have your children. Um, that's when your business takes off. You know, if you found something that is deeper, all right. Stay tuned. Come back for more soft life, soft girl, all of these things. It's not an error. It's not just a moment in time. It's a continuous process, a continuous unfoldment. That's what I'm going to be teaching in the Softness Embodied course happening on October 11th, and the Safe in Softness brunch happening in Houston on October 12th. Okay. That's the work we're going to be doing. I look forward to seeing y'all in there. Peace and love, family.